PreMarket PulseScan. We're testing. All right. We're test my test. PreMarket PulseScan. Welcome aboard. Welcome back. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. You are now tuned in to the PreMarket PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live at PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the infamous PulseWave price trigger reports. And with that, you can take advantage of our sale, $69 a month to get started trading with us. Come break bread with us. Get yourself a 6-pack and get one for a buddy. All right, so we're live now. We are here. This day has come. We are now here. This is the other side of the rainbow. We are experiencing holiday weekend schedules, and now people are trying to get back into the, back to business. Now, the good, bad, happy, sad of that is that I'm expecting very low volume, low volatility today, not too much going on. And that's because the European markets are still closed. All right. So for them, this is Easter Monday. For us, we're like, okay, we've celebrated. We're back. We're ready to do this. So because of that, today should be one of those boring Mondays. We have not had a boring Monday in a minute. So be thankful for that. Today should be chill. It really should. Not saying that it will stay that way because we are in uncertain times, but for the most part, it should be an uneventful day, giving the markets time to breathe and to readjust and reevaluate. We did have supposedly some type of OPEC agreement between, Russia and Saudi Arabia, the U.S., all the OPEC nations. Supposedly there is a agreement that has been reached, and seems like everybody's happy and nobody wants any smoke. So we'll see where that goes. I mean, oil has barely budged on the news. Not really too much to go with on that one. So we're just gonna see what it is. We're gonna vibe a little bit. We're gonna just peep this, see what's going on, see what it is, see where we go from here. Can't make any promises as to what's gonna go down. We just have to see, right? So with that being said, if you have any open positions, you're going to want to be especially attentive to them. Don't just ignore it because the markets are going to be moving on holiday time today. Even though it's not a holiday schedule, it's a regular market for us, regular trading time. But like I said, overseas in Europe, they're not trading, and that does impact. When you have a major economy shut down like that, because they're on vacation or what have you, it's a really big deal. All right, and you can expect markets to behave accordingly. So I'm not really expecting, like I said, too much to go on. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Today should be very uneventful, and let's hope that is the case. Because like I said, it doesn't have to be. It could be off the chain. You just never know. All it will take is a piece of news, and that would be it. That would be the end of that. So we'll see. All right. So with that being said, let's get in to see if there's any news. Sometimes you'll have a good piece of news. Then other times you have absolutely not a thing to discuss. So let's see here. I'm scanning now, see if we got anything. Normally on days like this, you won't see too much, but you just never can be too sure. So I'm just scanning a few things real quick. I'm on holiday time too myself. I'm not really, bugging. I don't care. All right, so we're gonna get into. I think I got a couple of things right quick. All right, here's some interesting stuff. All right, so China begins mass deletion of online research on coronavirus origins. Like we didn't see that coming, right? So yeah, and it's not just China, folks. Don't be misled by the actual title. Um, that's global. That's worldwide. Especially here on the home front. You got Facebook, you got YouTube, social media been deleting posts, deleting videos, and on the extreme end, taking away channels, deleting channels. I know you guys are familiar with the video that went viral, the interview with David Icke. I guess that's the second interview. Um, every time someone posted it on YouTube, it got taken down almost immediately. All right, so and I did finally get a chance to download and watch it while I was getting the PulseWave reports for forex and cryptos ready yesterday. I did have a chance to listen to it. I'm still not finished with the whole thing yet, but I think I'm a little bit more than halfway through it. I see why they wanted to delete it. See, I'm very thankful for channels like that, and there is a nice handful of good investigative journalism channels on social media. I don't have the time of day and wherewithal to do it all myself. Um, so I'm glad that there are channels that are very reliable out there that put forth the effort to bring you information. You know, with Alex Jones being gone off social media, it left a vacuum, but it also allowed other, I call them truth channels, to shine. Let them get some shine. They deserve it. They're putting the work in. So doing my own little research, the little bit I had time to do in the course of a day, because really my main focus is the PulseWave price trigger reports. That's my thing. I live, eat, and sleep the pulse waves. So my job is to make sure that our clients have the best and most accurate reports that money can buy. And I mean that's my job, to make sure that the system is on and popping every day. So I don't have time to do all that other stuff. I still want to do some little news segment stuff, but it's just hard to find the time when I'm in the lab. I stay in the lab. I'm a gym rat, if you will, or you say a lab rat. I'm always in the lab. All right, so I see why they wanted to ban and delete it, though. I really do. I see why. Um, the information that was presented was absolutely damaging. It really blows up, um, the powers that be. It definitely gets in their way. It's not one of those things that you can just easily ignore or sweep under the rug. Basically, if someone is a nut or an idiot, they get ignored. You don't have to talk to them. You don't have to address them. When you address someone who you claim to be an idiot or a fool, you validate them. You're telling the world that what the person is saying and doing is valid. That's why you can't ignore it, because it's upsetting the status quo. It's upsetting your paradigm. It's waking people up. It's taking people's attention away from the powers that be. It's taking them away from and being an interruption to their program conditioning. And in effect, it is causing deprogramming. So they have to silence the so-called idiot, because the idiot is doing damage, catastrophic, irreversible damage to their propaganda. I say all that to say, I know why they banned certain videos now on YouTube and other social media outlets. It's because what the information that they are presenting is damaging. And I know you guys have noticed that there's really no such thing as investigative journalism in the mainstream media. Everything that you see in the mainstream media and in entertainment is scripted and it is fake. All right. And it's propaganda designed to deepen your programming. It's powerful propaganda. I mean, it's the closest thing to witchcraft I've ever seen. All right. They use all these different psychological methodologies to trick, entice, manipulate, and propagate you with meaningless, worthless drivel. And it's so powerful that even if you were to be presented with contradictory information and facts, your brain, your body would shut down and turn off because certain trigger words would trigger you into an emotional crisis, and it would make you reject and dismiss anything that challenges or does violence to your psychological programming. The average American spends their entire life being propagandized, being socially and psychologically manipulated from the time that they start preschool or kindergarten or first grade or whatever. That's when it begins. Everything about the Western civilization boils down to mind control. You're being mind controlled and bombarded with programming 24 hours a day. Some people decided that they were going to get in front of this and say, I will not own a television. A television will not be in my home. But it doesn't matter because the propaganda is so deep and so wide that you don't have to have a TV to be continually bombarded with propaganda. Most people who do not have a television, they definitely own a smartphone. All right. So you can still be reached and enticed and hypnotized. And if that doesn't work, you say, well, I don't own a smartphone. The fact that you leave your house and walk outside into the open world, the marketplace, you will be bombarded with propaganda still. There are billboards, there's flashing screens. All right. Most of you, when you go to work, unless you have one of those hands on type careers, you're working at a computer, you're working in a cubicle. That cubicle has a computer. You're being propagandized. All right. If you do not, let's say you're a plumber or you're a carpenter or what have you, when you go outside of your work, when work time is over, the end of the day is over, you're being bombarded still because you're communicating with other individuals who have been propagandized all their life. So their worldview, their speech patterns, everything about them is regurgitating all the propaganda. So you're still receiving the propaganda. You're still being mind controlled. And your boss, if you do not own your own company, has been propagandized all their life. And now they are regurgitating their propaganda and mental conditioning. And now you're being mind controlled. All right. And every technique that you can think of when it comes to this social experiment of Western culture, you have nowhere to go. There's nowhere you can go. There's nothing you can do. You think you may have escaped, but if you've attended the average university in the United States, that is when they seal your propaganda. They seal your mental conditioning. They take you to that next level where they can seal it so that when you leave there, your conditioning will not break. You will not break from your conditioning. University has become the largest institution of propaganda on the planet. No longer are you being taught how to think when you go to university. You're not being taught how to challenge ideas and concepts and how to break things down and intellectualize and how to question and explore and, enter the world of debate and facts and evidence and truth. No, none of that. Instead, in university, you are being told what to think. You're being told how to think. There's a big difference. You are no longer your own person. You're being told what to think and how to think. And your conditioning is ratcheted up several notches because now in university, you will now learn that there is penalty, severe penalty for breaking the conditioning, for breaking the programming, for going outside of that programming. Extreme pressure is being put on the individual in the university. If you do not regurgitate that which your professor has programmed you with, you will fail the class. The only way to pass the class is to regurgitate that which the professor has programmed you with. You must show and demonstrate that you have successfully been programmed by the professor. If you do not, you will fail. If you challenge the professor, you will be humiliated in the class and you will fail. Not only does going against your programming in university have severe consequences, but it also has social implications. You will be ostracized by your peers as well. You will be alienated. You will be marginalized and you will be dismissed. They're preparing you for when you go out into the real world that this is ratcheted up times 10. So the university is preparing you for that. Okay. It used to be there was a point in time, and if you can find a needle in the haystack, there are high schools that will actually carry on that mantle and prepare you for real world and even steer you into different vocations based on your aptitude. And if you had the money to send your children there, because for the most part, they are not free schools or public schools. They are paid schools. All right. There are expensive preschools that only the well-to-do can afford. There are expensive high schools that only the well-to-do can afford. All right. And boarding schools and things of that nature, very expensive. Average person can't afford that. So where does that leave you? It leads you right back to where we are. No matter where you go, no matter what vocation, you will continuously be bombarded and propagandized. You don't have to own a radio or a television for the programming to take place. The mere fact that you've been schooled, that you've attended school, you will be propagandized. You will be controlled to a certain point. Those that go to the university or that have deeper programming than those that only attend grade school and make it through high school. All right. You're still going to be hit with the social norms and pressures of the propaganda. This has been done on purpose. All right. Now, the world itself is leaning towards one voice. One voice. Everyone is thinking the same thing and speaking the same thing. It is a powerful thing to have one voice, one language, one thought. And that is the direction the world has been moving to. Getting back to one language, one voice, one thought process, one religion, one currency, one government. That is the direction that we are headed. and there is nothing that you or I can do about it. One of the reasons why we can't do anything about it is because of the nature of the setup of the global government. The global government has been moving in this direction for decades, even before we were born. And now we're just getting to the culmination of things, getting toward the conclusion of this happening. People always say, or like to say, or like to believe that if it were up to me, this and that, or I would have done this and that. But in reality, you would have done the exact same thing, because in reality, you are doing the exact same thing. Allow me to demonstrate further. Take a look at the overnight markets. The Dow is down 108 points at 23,513. NASDAQ 100 down 33 points at 8194. E-mini S&P 500 is down 11 points at 2769 and a quarter. Russell is down 10.9 points at 1233 even. Bitcoin Futures Composite Index is down $575, trading at $6,715. Nat gas is up 4 pennies at 178. Crude oil is up 77 cents, trading at $23.52 a barrel. The long bond is down 18.30 seconds, trading at 178.09. Gold is down $17.40 at $1,735.30. Silver is down 59 cents at $15.45.5. And the US dollar index is up 66 pips, trading at 99.58, maintaining a position well below par. Euro yen is down 80 pips at 117.73. Pound sterling is up 40 pips at 124.95. The euro is down 29 pips at 109.27. And the Aussie is up 56 pips at 63.65. Beans are down 1 3/4 points at 861 3/4. And corn is up 2.5 at 329 1/4. And we just had the opening bell, and the market has, at least the Dow and the NASDAQ got a little worse, but not a whole lot. And your oil just powered up a little bit, but not really. See, even in what you just looked at with these quotes, you are seeing programming and conditioning at its finest. We have light volume today. We have a situation where all of the markets are moving the exact same way. And for the most part, even in the same direction. That tells you a lot. Everyone has been programmed to know that on days like this, you don't do a lot of trading. It's not a lot of money being moved around. So the markets trade in a very tight pattern. You can see the programming and conditioning even in the markets. So this is a situation where a person never really strays further than their programming unless they break with their programming altogether. It is very difficult for people to break with their programming. It is not without consequence. Breaking with your programming can be very traumatic, literally, even to the point, in some cases, of death. Breaking your programming can lead to death. People have committed suicide when they learn the horrible truth about themselves or about the world or any number of things where changing one's beliefs is detrimental. When you are faced with truth, it can be devastating. It can be extremely painful. And it can be very difficult to have your worldview shattered before you, to see your worldview that you've held all your life be destroyed in seconds. And I don't mean just someone just tells you something anecdotal. I'm talking about real truth, being confronted with real truth and real facts and real credible evidences. It can be devastating. I mean, absolutely devastating. All right. Now, that is why a lot of people don't break with their programming. And that's why it's hard to break people from their programming, because they're comfortable. They hold on to the worldview for dear life, knowing that it is excruciating to be disconnected from it. They can't fathom a world disconnected from their own worldview that they have created for themselves and or been propagandized into believing, being conditioned into believing. And not only is the propaganda approach that you've been exposed to your whole life devastating and detrimental to you, but within your conditioning, you have been conditioned to dread the departure of it. So you cling to it for dear life. You become emotional because feelings have been attached to it. Nostalgia kicks in. All these things, all these mechanisms begin to override your senses. And it is a powerful thing. You don't even realize at the time, at the time, that you are being emotional, that you're not really being analytical or critical. You're being emotional. The critical analytical has been turned off. It's only then when you can realize and take a moment and stop and look at yourself in the mirror that you realize, oh my goodness, why am I acting so emotional? Why aren't I at least investigating these claims? Let me investigate. Unless you have an inquisitive mind, you will not investigate. Your emotions will win over. And that's what happens. But the powers that be do not rest on their laurels. They don't just sit idly by and let this process take on its natural progression. They have to intervene because they fear that too many people may be breaking from their programming. So now they have to use drastic measures. And so they begin to intervene into your daily lives. They say, if we see or hear the resistance, we must shut it down immediately. Delete that video, delete that tweet. And if all else fails, delete that account. Do not allow that information to go forward. As a matter of fact, design a new algorithm that will seek and search out any of those key words or phrases, anything that has to do with that individual's deprogramming. We must seek it out, search and destroy it and get rid of it. And that's where we are. Now, a lot of you are wondering, what's going on with the markets? Where are we going from here? We're going absolutely nowhere. I showed you that in the end of day report. The last video I did, I showed you exactly what's going on in the markets and what was not going on in the markets. I told you we are going nowhere. I showed you where we are stuck in a very wide trading range in just about every market. Do you not recall the ticking time bomb in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that showed you that the majority, if not all markets, are caught in a consolidation wave, whether it be in the Kumo cloud or below the Kumo cloud? It's still stuck in a sideways trading range, and it has yet to break out and begin trending. The majority of the markets, from Bitcoin to altcoins to the Dow to the NASDAQ to the S&P to crude oil, to bonds, to gold, to silver are stuck in a consolidation wave. With the exception being gold. Gold is stuck in a consolidation wave top side of the Kumo cloud. All right. But everything else is stuck in a consolidation wave below the Kumo cloud. Do you not recall that the end of day report that I did last week where I showed you that every market has been moving in the same direction? Do you not recall all of the charts looking absolutely identical? If you remove the name from the chart, you would think that I was pulling up the same chart over and over again. All right. So that's where we are. Doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin Cash, doesn't matter if it's Ethereum. They're all moving in the same chart pattern. Not just the same direction, but the same exact chart pattern. Now, do you see what I've been talking about since I started this live stream? You see how it's all coming together? Patterns, people. You have to watch and look at the patterns. The charts have not changed since Friday. All right, so I gave you my end of day report, confident that there will be no change. And right now, what do we have? We have no change. Markets are still trading within the consolidation zones that I showed you on, I said Friday, on Thursday's end of day report. Thursday's end of day report is the same right now. If I were to pull up the chart again, it would still be the same chart. Nothing literally has changed. Literally nothing has changed. All right. So I wanted to show you that this morning. That was my whole purpose for all of this. I wanted you to understand the singularity that we are approaching. All right. The oneness of things. Notice how all the charts, and I repeat, every chart I showed you on Thursday's end of day report was identical. Identical. I hope you really, if you didn't see the last end of day report that I did, you need to go take a look at it when we finish this live stream, because it's eye-opening. I was hoping that it would be very eye-opening for you. Every chart is the identical chart pattern. How you can't make this stuff up. It didn't matter if you were stocks, commodity futures, forex, cryptocurrencies, bonds, gold. So it don't matter. It doesn't matter. They're all identically the same. How does that even happen? The planet is made up of about 6 or 7 billion people. All right. There are multiple markets. There are tens of thousands of equities worldwide. There is at least 400 forex trading pairs. There is a numerous amount of crypto coins. How in the world is everything on the planet moving in the same direction at the same time and moving in the same pattern? It's not that, okay, these markets right here, this handful of markets, they're all down. That's not the pattern. I want you to see the chart patterns. Did you see the prices? The prices are the same. I don't know how to stress that any more than that. The chart patterns are the same. If you remove the name of the chart, you would not know that it was the same. Identical chart. How is that possible? You have so many mutual funds, hedge funds, commodity pools, CTAs, traders, money market accounts, mutual funds. You have so many markets. You have so many. You got pension funds and teachers union funds, all these funds. How is it that they're all doing the same thing at the same time, causing identical chart patterns? You and I both know that traditionally speaking, if you put 10 people in a room, they will not be able to agree on everything. Why do you think juries are so locked all the time or hung? Hung jury. Juries, they're locked. They can't come to a decision. You got all them people in there, and that's it. Because we're coming into the end game, folks. This is what I shared to you last week. We have entered the age of the Borg, and it is the last and final age. We got past the Industrial Revolution, the Internet Revolution, the Information Age. Now we're entering into the Borg. The Borg is a beast in and of itself. And that's what we're looking at, folks. That's what you've been experiencing. That's why everything is looking the same. People are starting to look the same, dress the same, act the same, think the same, talk the same, look the same. Markets are starting to look the same, act the same, trade the same, trend the same, consolidate the same, all at the same time. Is that because you have the same money chasing after the same instruments at the same time, trading in the same direction? That's something that needs to be thought about and looked into, folks. I'm telling you what it is. I'm giving you the real. Now, whatever market action you see today, it may or may not be turned around on tomorrow, because when you have a holiday schedule, it can kind of throw things off by a day or two. But I'm expecting whatever happens today will be quickly reversed come tomorrow. And I still don't see a direction going on here. I just don't see it. Not right now, anyway. I don't see a direction. I still do not see a direction in these markets. Markets are trying to evaluate what's really going on. Also, I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but because I've been doing this for a minute, I can tell you that I've never seen it. The type of volatility and the type of price, all right, I've never seen the Dow move this many points. Historically speaking, the Dow would have, at worst, it would have like a 600-point trading range. At worst, the Nasdaq was famous for having, 100-point trading range, and the S&P 500 will be lucky if it moved 30 points in a trading range. Those were the extreme ranges in those indexes. But now it's not uncommon for the Dow to move 3,000 points, 2,000 points. That is not normal. I repeat, that is not normal. That is not normal market behavior in any way, shape, or form. It just ain't. Okay? So I want you guys to know that. I want y'all to understand that. That is not the norm. It is not the norm, not at all. We're seeing something different happening in the markets. Something that has never happened before is now starting to happen in these markets. And if we are smart, we would do well to acknowledge it so that we can be on the right side of it. So I just want to put that bug in your ear, let you know what time it is, because we are coming in, into a very interesting age. Now, I've been seeing this thing here. All right, my man Log says blood moon over Rome midnight, April the 12th. The omen for that church, all right, and those who serve that deity, the transition has started. Yeah, I mean at the end of the day, that's some Illuminati stuff right there. But I'm gonna say this though, a lot can be said about all of that, and because the heavens, the stars, have changed so much, so drastically, the night sky that you're looking at is not the same night sky that existed 2,000 years ago. All right, so that stuff is changing, forever changing. So you can't make an assumption just based off of that. I never put much stock in astrology. You guys have heard me say that before. And I said astrology, not astronomy. I said astrology. So just, for as far as that's concerned, no. I know some people do. They get mad when I talk about it, but I know people, like I told you, who used to trade off of that specifically. I never saw them make money consistently doing that. I've traded and tested up just about every system you can think of, and there are literally thousands of them, new ones being created every day. I just never seen it be consistently robust and prolific in all markets. I just never seen it. But again, that's just me personally, All right. Let's see. Someone said, oh, all right. Support this. Sent this to me. Clorox wipes is the new gold. Clorox is not only beating the S&P 500 year to date, but gold and Bitcoin too. Yeah, there have been a lot of memes about that too, man. A lot of memes about Clorox. But even in that's not gonna stay. Eventually, that's gonna go out of favor as well, and it's a stock. It's a stock, so it's gonna behave and act like a stock. Now, with that being said, though, we did actually have we had trade bias this morning being shown on the bullish side of the Dow. We have a crash alert for the Bitcoin. We had also trade bias being shown on the S&P, gold, nat gas, the NASDAQ 100. We got a crash alert for crude oil, trade bias, a bullish trade bias for the Russell. Pretty much all of the U.S. stock indexes had a bullish trade bias today. All right, there's a difference between rally alerts and trade bias. All right, if you look at the 911s on the report, those are trade bias. All right, the alerts is your 777s and your 311s. Those are your primary rally and crash alerts. The 911 or negative 911, those are your bias alerts, letting you know where the money flow is, what side of the money flow. So if you were like trying to guess what side to move on, that's what that's there for. But the price triggers themselves, the intraday price inflection point is the most riveting, because it's going to tell you exactly what's going down, what side of the world the money is on. You know what I mean? So that's what I designed that to do. All right, so if you look at your reports, though, you'll notice too that even though the Dow is down 352 points, it means nothing anymore. The Dow can move 352 points in 2 minutes. It means absolutely nothing. And the intraday price inflection points, the market's nowhere near going that way. If you look at the reports, it's just not happening. So I say all that to say, you got to take the emotion out of it. Emotionally, but oh man, market's moving. No, it's not. System's designed to keep you on the right side and to cancel out the noise. But because of the news items, the markets are prone to extreme movements because of the news. Like for real, the news is what's doing it. The news is kicking it up and making things move a certain way. There's nothing you can do about that. Except for, like I said, try to put yourself on the right side of the market where you can ignore all that news. That's what I try to do. I try to make sure that you guys are in a situation where you could ignore a lot of that noise that comes over, because that's really what it is. It's just a lot of noise. And you have to be able to filter that out. Same thing with the Clorox and all that. It's in favor now, but when this is all over with, it's going to go back to being ignored. No one's going to care. And I mean that with the utmost respect. No one's going to care. No one's going to give a darn about any of that. Because as a stock, all they're going to do is continue to act like a stock. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, and it's going to keep doing that and be tossed to and fro. Another thing that of note is that we're now in earnings season. Okay, today kicks that off. This week kicks that off. So the real question is going to be, where do the markets go from here? You know what I mean? That's going to be the new thing. Where do we go from here? And as soon as that data comes out, that's going to change everything. You'll see these markets turn on a dime. At the end of the day, Clorox is it's just a stock, still a stock. All right. It doesn't matter what we think about the little fad that's going on. It matters what people think. So at some point, they're going to have to come out and they're going to have to give their earnings. It's going to go up right now. It's going to look good. But let's be honest. If this was not the situation, if there was no coronavirus nonsense going on, would this market even be doing what it's doing right now? And you know what? The answer is no. It would not. It got a big boom because of the virus. Anything other than that, it wouldn't have done nothing. So I just want y'all to know that and understand that. All right, so I'm pretty much done right now. I mean, that's all I got. Not too much going on today. So with that being said, I'm out. Just remember, we'll see you guys back here for the end of the day report. The rest of you I'll see in the trading room. Come break bread with us. You can even fill out a free account at PulseWaveTrading.com. We have a few giveaways when you open up a free account. And for those of you that are ready to start breaking bread and build that secondary income stream, come on over and register. You can get started with us for as low as $69 a month. I told you they're coming for your jobs. So you're going to want to come on over here and learn how to do this. The sooner, better than later. The sooner, the better, folks. All right. So with that being said, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.